With Captain America's Civil War now out, a big part of the conflict revolves around Cap's only remaining friend from the old days, James Bucky Buchanan Barnes, the Winter Soldier. Cap believes he deserves a chance at redemption. Iron Man believes he needs to face a long and violent history. You may think this is just a cool name for a Russian Cold War-era spy, but you may be surprised about what else is behind the name. Hey, I'm DK, and you are watching Alter Ego, the show where we take a deeper look at some of the names in our favorite comics. Today we have a fun one, with ties all the way back to the Vietnam conflict, and even further back to America's War of Independence. Who knew such a cool name would be so deep? The character that would come to be the Winter Soldier started out as Captain America's sidekick, Bucky, in 1941's Captain America Comics #1 as created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. In his sketches for this new hero, Simon included a young sidekick simply named Bucky. The character would end up being in almost every appearance Captain America had made at that time. He was a scrappy 16-year-old army-adopted scamp with a talent for heroics. People loved the super duo, and Bucky made his rounds in the comic world until Captain America Comics was canceled in 1950. That was it for Captain America and Bucky for a while, until Cap made his triumphant return to Marvel Comics in Avengers #4 from 1963. It was revealed that Cap was frozen for decades after a mission involving a plane crash that seemingly killed Bucky. There is a lot more detail in Captain America's adventures during the late 40s and early 50s that we could cover, but Scott already did that, so you can watch that after you're done here. But anyway, this is Alter Ego. We're all about the names here. The names. So Bucky was dead. In fact, he was often cited along with Jason Todd and Uncle Ben as being one of the few characters in comics who would always remain dead. But it turns out that the fans may have spoken too soon. As we come to the modern age of comics and Ed Brubaker, who had been tasked with writing Captain America Comics in 2004, and with this, he released Captain America Volume 5, Issue 1 in January 2005, reviving a few old villains and an old friend turned enemy, Bucky Barnes, now as the Winter Soldier. Same as what can be seen all the way back in 1963 in Avengers #4, Captain America and Bucky had both been killed in a plane crash, but in this new continuity, both men had been frozen. Aside from that, the major continuity changes comes when Bucky had been found by a nearby Russian experimental spy submarine, beaten, with his left arm missing, and most definitely dead. They worked quickly to increase his temperature and managed to revive him with a healthy dose of electricity, some CPR, and a bit of adrenaline. When Bucky woke, he could not remember anything about his old life, but found he knew how to fight and that he knew how to speak 4 languages. There's a potential Jason Bourne shout out there, but let's get back on track. Seeing his potential, the Soviets put Bucky into a codenamed program called the Winter Soldier Project, and began brainwashing him to be loyal only to the Soviet Union. Oh, you silly Russians. Upon completion and operating under his new Winter Soldier codename, he began to complete missions to assassinate Soviet Cold War targets. This worked out well for the Russians, who would freeze him again, only bringing him back at times when they needed his skills. This idea served as half the inspiration for the Winter Soldier name, being a soldier that they could freeze at times and just wake him back up again when they needed to send him on a dangerous and difficult mission. A cold killer to be put on ice until the next body needed to be dropped. When pitching the idea to Marvel, Brubaker had explained that it sounded like a very cool name, with the Russian assassin angle, an agent from the Cold War frozen between missions. When he was asked later about the inspiration, however, he said that he liked the name, yes, but it was also a shout out to a story written by Thomas Payne, his favorite founding father, in the first release of his pamphlet series, The American Crisis. The pamphlet spoke of the American Revolution that was now taking place and opened with a dialogue about what it truly means to be a soldier and a patriot. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of his country. But he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. The article referred to the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot as men who will only perform their duties when it is convenient or easy, such as the soldiers who deserted at Valley Forge, whereas the true soldier will stick with the cause until the end, no matter what that end may be. However, even though you could stop here and make the assumption that the Winter Soldier would be a term for a soldier that fulfills his duty even in the most trying of times, we don't find the true meaning with the term until the historic Winter Soldier investigation from 1971. In this national media event, John Kerry had testified that the play on the words for the investigation was of Thomas Paine's Summer Soldier, to show the true responsibility of a soldier was to speak out against the crimes that were being committed in Vietnam. They would not stay quiet as a summer soldier would, but instead maintain the cause and speak out as a true Winter Soldier. The soldiers of the investigation had felt that the crimes that were being committed were threatening America, and they needed to speak up and make them known. Over the course of 300 days, over 100 veterans and 16 civilian contractors testified at the Winter Soldier investigations to hold themselves accountable for the war crimes that were committed in Vietnam. Brubaker had taken direct inspiration from this, feeling that a name lifted straight from the atrocities of the Vietnam War and also served as a callback from the founding of our nation would make a perfect Captain America villain. Even to this day, the name still holds meaning in the military. As recent as 2008, there was an event named for the Winter Soldier investigation, organized by the soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan. The new Winter Soldier event had more than 200 U.S. military veterans and active duty soldiers provide accounts of their experiences. This was used as a forum to speak out against the war. It makes me wonder, with Bucky becoming a large player in the MCU, how much of this are they going to project into the character, if anything? Could the Winter Soldier represent the hardships experienced by some of our men and women fighting overseas, making a more meaningful and grounded connections with the fans? Or is it just a cool name? I guess we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, what do you think? Do you think the Winter Soldier should become a face for the military war crimes and repentance in the MCU? Maybe he is already. Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you guys happen to like this video and want some more of the show, go ahead and click this link right here. It'll send you over to a playlist of all of them. Every single one. You get to see more of me. But if you are as hyped for Captain America Civil War as I am, and I'm recording this before I've seen it, you can click on this link over here to go to a little playlist we put together for the occasion. We talk about Captain America, and the Avengers, and even Black Panther. If it's your first time here, make sure you click that big old subscribe button up top so you don't miss out on all the videos that we have for you every week that explore the history, science, art, and philosophy behind your favorite comic book superheroes. Once again, I'm DK. Thanks for watching.